Hello everybody, Son of Rich here with a video. I'm going to do a record collection video of Alien Sex Fiend. They're electronic, industrial, they use samples, they use loops, dubs, they have driving guitars and manic vocals. I have a flyer here of when I saw them. I only saw this band once. Great band live. In fact, I'm going to leave a link in this video to a 85 concert in Japan. 85, I believe this was in 85 also. Nick Fiend, he was in the 70s. Mid-70s, he was in an Alice Cooper type tribute band or sound-alike band. Then he joined, or I don't know if he formed, Demon Preacher. It was a punk band. I think this single is from 77. Demon Preacher, Little Miss Perfect. On Small Wonder Records. Actually, very good 7-inch. Like I said, they're a goth band. They were part of that goth movement. What I liked about them, though, is when they were asked, I believe it was I saw an interview in 85, they referred to themselves, we're a punk band, which I liked. A lot of bands and critics, they always kind of separate a lot of these bands that I consider punk, and they give them other names. Well, anyways, let's get on, because this might be too long as it is. In London, there was a club called the Batcave, and that's where Nick Cave worked there, and that's where he met the other 3 founding members. And there was a comp released, Batcave. It's Young Limbs and what is it? Doesn't say right here. Young Limbs and Numb Hymns. Fantastic comp. Highly recommend. It's just really good. The Alien Sex Fiend are the 3rd song on side 2. And then the 4th song is the last song on side 2, which is a very cool synthesizer with violin song. Side 2 ends really great. The Alien Sex Fiend song is R.I.P. Rest in Peace. As I said, it came out in 83. Before this, I forgot to mention, Alien Sex Fiend released a cassette, and that was done with Youth from the Killing Joke. And this is the Batcave label. Now, the very first record I ever bought by Alien Sex Fiend turned out it was their very first single, and it was a blind buy for me. I bought it based on the cover. I thought it looked fantastic. I'd never seen nothing like it. And it's Lips Can't Go, backed with Drive My Rocket. And just fantastic. It's the 4 original members are Nick Fiend on vocals, Mrs. Fiend on synthesizers, electronics, Yaki High Riser on guitar, and Johnny Haha on drums. Fantastic. Also came out in 83. Cherry Red Records signed them, and their first album, full-length album, came out in 1983. It's guitars. The guitars are driving, fuzzy, garage, surf, and lots of feedback. The drums and guitars are more prevalent on this album than there are others. And this is their first album, and it's probably still my favorite. Fantastic album. Side 1 starts out with I Wish and Wild Women. Both great songs. The third song is I'm Not Mad. It's got a great guitar riff. And then New Christian Music. Just great vocals, manic vocals. And the side just keeps getting better and better. And it ends with Wigwam, Wipeout, an instrumental. Just a great song. Side 2 starts out with I'm Her Frankenstein. It's kind of a slow, droney song. And then it's got I Am Product. And then there are 2 singles, Ignore the Machine and Lips Can't Go. Ignore the Machine is electronic with driving guitars. Lips Can't Go is an electronic bass song with the fuzzed out guitars. Both songs kind of go on a little too long. And then it ends with Black Rabbit. But yeah, I love this album. Side 1 though is just, whew, it starts out great and it builds and builds and builds. It's darn near a perfect side. The inner sleeve has all the lyrics, the credits right here, and let's see, pretty basic label. And I got a 12-inch of Ignore the Machine, which is one of the singles off the first album. It's got Ignore the Machine and The Girl at the End of My Gun and Do You Want to Die. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the 12 inches. Otherwise this will go on forever. And that's what the label looks like, pretty plain black. I hope that's picking up. Now their second full-length album is Acid Bath. In this album, the electronics become more prominent. This band, it's kind of like a garage Depeche Mode. You know, they got the electronic stuff, but they're not wimpy. Ding, 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 ding. You know, how kind of that early Depeche Mode was. And this came out in '84. The first song is In God We Trust. It starts electro, and then the guitars kick in. In God We Trust was a live staple of theirs. The next song, Dead and Buried, it's got a really fast electro beat. And it's got great guitars, and it also is a live staple. She's a Killer, the third song. It's a slower song, synthesizers, and it's the first song of theirs that actually had keyboard, like piano. It's, you know, a piano sound. Hee Haw is the last song on side 1, and it sounds like a song from the first album. Really driving guitar. Side 2 starts with tapes and tape loops. It's got EST on it, and it's electronic with manic vocals, and that again was a live staple. Attack, I think, is the last song. No, there's one other song. Attack is it's like a song from the first album also with driving guitars. But this album had 3 songs that were live staples that they would play. They probably still play. And this is what this label looks like. And I bought this record used. And this is the lyric sheet. This is actually a Japanese pressing. And this is the inner sleeve, and it's pretty jacked. Their third full-length album is Maximum Security. This came out in '85. I didn't like this album as much as the first 2 when it first came out. It's a slower. It is a gatefold. The drums and percussion on this album are often louder than the guitars. It's really recorded very weirdly. The first three songs on side one are all good. The fourth song is In and Out of My Mind. The drums, it's recorded real weird. The drums sound like they're beating on a box, like it's weird. Side two, Spies, the song Spies. It's the vocals are more part of the background. It's not really a singing. The next song is Fly in the Ointment. It's got a great guitar riff and great vocals on it. The next song is Seconds to Nowhere. And again, that's one I believe where the vocals are kind of part of the background music. It's not really a, you know, a singing type song. Do You Sleep? The vocals come, or it's another normal vocal type song. But the beating on the box drums come back. And I mean it. It sounds like if you got an empty box and you beat on it with a stick, that's what it sounds like. It's really weird. And then the last song, is it? Yeah. Depravity Lane. Great guitar riff on that. Like I said, I didn't like this album when it first came out. It's a lot slower. I don't know. I love it now, though. And I don't need to take it out. Here's the labels. And I did buy the 12-inch of Maximum Security. I'm doing Timing on Maximum Security. Twilight Zone is the full length. Name of the song. Side 2 is I'm Doing Time version. In and Out of My Mind version. And Backward Beaver. Pretty cool 12-inch. Well, this is moving right along. It's not going to be quite as long as I thought. And that's what the label looks like. I hope you can pick that up. So that was 3 studio albums. Their 4th album was actually a live album. Liquid Head in Tokyo. Alien Sex Fiend. It's not as good as the first 3. It's a good album though. And this is, I'm going to leave a link to this. The video, the DVD version of this on below. So you can get an idea what the band is like. They're, I think they're a great band. They're one of my favorite bands from the 80s. Very early, very influential on in the industrial scene. I mean, they came about the same time as Skinny Puppy. I mean, very early. And this has really got a great song selection on it. And I don't think you're going to be able to see these. It's like blue and red labels. I mean, it's even hard to read that in person. That was their 4th album. Their 4th studio album, though, is this one. And it's called It. This came out in '86. This album is quite experimental. I mean, their other albums are not normal. I mean, if you're not an adventurous type, you're not going to like this band probably. But this one, it got even a little more experimental. But the songs started to become a little predictable. And on this album, it's when it became quite apparent that Nick Fiend is no Bob Dylan. And also Johnny Haha left. There was no drummer on this. It's all electronic. Mrs. Fiend playing drum machines and stuff. Smells Like, the first song, very fast. I mean, it starts out with the electronic, you know, that kind of, they invented techno, you know. The second song is Manic Depression. They're both good songs, but it's nothing really new, and they're both quite. Smells Like is like almost a 6-minute song. Manic Depression is like over 13 minutes, and it kind of wears on you. Believe it or not, the last song is an instrumental, and it is a much better song than the first two. Now, one thing I didn't notice, I didn't mention, is all the album covers are designed by Nick Fiend, the singer of the band. Side 2 starts off with April Showers. It's a slow instrumental. I mean, and it's very experimental. And it evolves into it goes straight into the second song, Wop Bop, which is has great vocals. It's just a really good song. Kind of like Wop Bop Bop Bam, you know. Like that oldie song almost. But, I mean, and then it evolves or devolves into that experimental sound at the end. And the first two songs kind of like, or one song actually. Get Into It is the next song, and it's crappy electronics with little beeps and boops and bops and crappier lyrics. I mean, get into it. Let's play cricket. I mean, it's terrible. This is the first bad song. I mean, the first two songs on side 1, they're good, but they're not great. Not as good as the first 3 albums. But this song here, man, it's a piece of crap. It's a big turd, you know. I mean, the first song, It Smells Like, and it smells like crap. Well, Get Into It sounds like crap, you know. The next song is Do It Right. It's got grinding guitars, as good as any song on their first album. And then To Be Continued is a very short instrumental that almost sounds like it could be from the Clockwork Orange soundtrack. So, side 2 of this album is pretty good, with a real crappy song right in the middle. And I'm not going to take it out. Very basic label on this one. And this one, I have it. It's got the insert, and it unfolds. I don't know if I should unfold it. And it's actually, it looks like a poster. Double-sided. But it's actually all the lyrics on all the songs. Pretty cool. All designed by Nick Fiend. Pretty cool. So that was their 4th studio album. It was a bit of a letdown compared to their first 3. The 5th studio album is Alien Sex Fiend, is Here Come Germs. This one came out in '87. And it's a 3-piece again. Although there's a 4th guy on the back picture here, so I don't know. But I believe this is only a 3-piece. Came out in '87. The first song, The Mission Impossible, the album starts out with this great electro beat. The vocals, they're not really vocals. The words are like movie clips, or they're taken from spoken word things from different movies, I guess, or I don't know, films. The second song, Here Come Germs, it's a good song. The next one is Isolation. It's not a very good song. In fact, it's another turd. And then the last song, My Brain Is in the Cupboard. It's a good basic guitar riff, but it's kind of repetitious. Side 2 has 3 songs. You Are Soul. It's a fast song with great driving guitars. The next song is Death. It's very slow and it's very boring. It builds to a climax in the last minute. It's like a 5 or maybe a 6-minute song. The last minute builds to a pretty good climax, but it's too little too late. And then Boots On is the last song. It's all electronics and drum machines, and it's not a very good song. So this album is, the first 3 studio albums are great. The next 2 are kind of disappointing. I mean, they're not bad albums, but I mean, I would give them like 3 stars, out of 5. And that's what the label looks like on both sides. And the inner sleeve's got pictures of the band and Here's songs and credits. I guess it does have a drummer. Rat Fink plays on. Oh, just the one song, the Isolation song. That's the crappy one. And then this is a 12-inch that came out the same year, 87. And it's Stuff the Turkey. And you got Stuff the Turkey and Stuff the Turkey Bootyful Dub. And on side 2 is They All Call Me Crazy and Crazier Still. These two songs are on the CD version of Here Comes Germs. And these two songs are so much better than the last two songs on side 2. If they would have put these two songs on the album, it would have been a great album with just one crappy song on side 1. And it's unfortunately they didn't do that. But whatever. I would suggest getting maybe the CD on Here Come Germs. Now their 6th album, Another Planet. This one came out in 88, and this is a big improvement. I believe this is only Nick Fiend and Mrs. Fiend on it, and I think it has Rat Fink, the guy that played drums on that last album on the one song. I believe he plays in some parts, and I believe a guitar guy plays on a couple of the songs. And those two guys, after this album, joined the band. But yeah, this is really good. It's got a lot of electronics and a lot of sampling. But it's a very, very good album. I really dig this album. It's a big improvement over their 4th and 5th album. And this is what the label looks like. And I do have the single from that album, Bun Ho. It's the first song on side 1, and it's fantastic. Fantastic cover. This guy's covers are art. This is what the label looks like on that one, and this one here is a U.S. only release. It's the Impossible Mission Mini LP. It's got like 2 songs from this album, and I think it's got 2 songs from this one. Where is it at? Well, it's got 2 songs from the last 2 albums, and it's The Impossible Mission. It's got Smells Like, My Brain Is in the Cupboard. Those are all songs that are on those other 2 albums. It's also got Hurricane Fighter Plane, which is that Texas garage band. Was it 13th Floor Elevators, I believe? But yeah, this is a really pretty good. It says mini LP, but it's like 17-minute sides. And the labels on this one are very American. Pretty, not like an independent looking thing. And this record here is Now I'm Feeling Zombified. This is off of their album that came out in 1990, I believe. And I don't have that album. I stopped at what was it? Another Planet one. The one with the guy with a... God dang, I should... Yeah, I stopped with this one, Forbidden Planet. But I did buy this 12-inch for the next album. I'm Feeling Zombified, and it's one of their staples now. Fantastic song. And Rat Fink and that guitar player are on this. They're back to a 4-piece. And I might get that album. You know, I've been listening to a lot of Alien, Sex Fiend. I've listened to all these albums several times. I didn't listen to the 12 inches. And again, pretty hard to read the labels. And the last album I have is one that came out last year on Record Store Day. It's Alien, Sex Fiend Edit Overdose. It's a live album. It's all stuff from 1982 to 1988. And it's very good stuff. And it came with a CD of live stuff. but none of it, it's not the same material as the album. So it would have been cool if they would have made it a double album, because kind of the stuff on the CDs, well, no, actually, now that I think about it, all the stuff on the CD is not live, but it's stuff that wasn't on albums. But yeah, it would have been cool to be a double album, but whatever. It would have been more expensive. But yeah, really cool Record Store Day. I think it was in English only, but Amoeba had one, and this is what the inner sleeve looks like. It's got some old pictures of them. Very cool stuff. Here they are at the Batcave. I don't know if you're going to see that. And this label, oh wait, I'll bring this one out because guess what? It's on white vinyl. All the other ones are black vinyl. This is a new record, so they couldn't release it on black vinyl, you know. But anyways, that's it. Alien Sex Fiend. I suggest you check them out. Pretty cool band. Take care, guys and gals. Take care, guys and gals.